So I personally believe that every failure is actually a stepping stone to success. Now, I've had so many failures in my life. I never made it into the Marines. I never made it as a successful UFC fighter back when I had my MMA career going on. There's been so many different things, even opportunities being on TV where I thought, right, had all these great expectations that, hey, I'm going to win the grand prize, and it doesn't ever happen that way. So I firmly believe that everything happens for a reason. In fact, Steve Jobs, he has one of the most beautiful quotes that I truly love, and I try my best to always keep in mind because it just helps, especially whenever life throws curveballs, and it's this. You cannot connect the dots looking forward in life, but you can always connect the dots looking backwards in life. So you never know, right? Let's just say that you're watching this right now, you feel like you're constantly struggling, right? Constantly going through failures, and that might be even on your health and fitness journey, where it seems like you tried this diet and you failed. You tried this workout program, you failed. You tried this, different, workout split and you failed. You only fail when you throw in the towel and quit. That's it, right? Like plain and simple. And so for today's video, I want to share with you just like what it takes to have a heart of a champion. And most importantly, understand that failing, right, is most importantly is a necessity thing, right? Like it's necessary. We need to fail in order to be successful. You can look at all the greats out there. Like two guys that always come to mind is, for starters, Michael Jordan. He failed out of his high school basketball team, North Carolina. And if he would have let that get to him, if he didn't have that heart of a champion, he would have just accepted that and would have never practiced, would have never, put in the reps. But he didn't let that be, his outcome. Just because he failed and, didn't make the team back in high school, he didn't let that be his destiny. He didn't let that be his reality is what I'm trying to get at, right? And then the other person is Roger Bannister, which is, I love this story. In case you don't know who he is, he's the first person ever to run a mile in underneath 4 minutes. Like everybody thought it was impossible. In fact, the doctors thought the human heart would explode because like you just couldn't use your heart to that capacity, I guess, running a mile within under 4 minutes. And he's somebody that tried and failed, but eventually he got it down, right? And he was the first person ever to run a mile in underneath 4 minutes. And the best part is he was able to literally like break a lot of self-limiting beliefs in so many other people. There's been hundreds of people. In fact, some even high schoolers have been able to run a mile in underneath 4 minutes. And it's simply because of Roger Bannister breaking those self-limiting beliefs. So the reason why, once again, I want to share that with you is because you might be struggling. You might be going through some failures in your own life, and it might be on your health and fitness journey. But the only time you actually fail is when you quit, when you fully just throw in the towel and just give up, okay? If you're watching this video right now, it means that there's something about you, right? There's something deep down inside your soul right now that says, hey, let's give it one more attempt, one more shot, okay? Now, I want to just say this. I, once again, shared a little bit about my failures, but one failure that I'm seeking revenge on is last November. I was actually in Chicago, and I did my first ever Hyrox event. Now, in case you don't know anything about Hyrox, it is like, it's tough. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I'll go over here in a little bit when I do it behind the scenes in terms of like my training split, my nutrition, my goals to help me, right, compete and actually perform my best this year for Hyrox coming up here in about 10 weeks. But, right, it's a beast in a nutshell, right? A lot of running, a lot of strength-based workouts, a lot of endurance. It's intense. And I'll share with you here in a little bit, once again, what that all looks like in terms of the workouts. But let me give you some context, okay? I drove into Chicago. It was about a 6-hour drive here from Cleveland, Ohio, where I live at. And, when I got there, I just felt off. Like I trained really, really hard for Hyrox last year, like really hard. Put myself through a lot of different movements that I'm not used to, a lot of ways to kind of push myself physically. And physically, I was prepared, but mentally, I was just off. And, I've always struggled here and there with depression and just getting negative and all within my own head and a lot of worry, doubt, fear, anxiety. And that weekend, I kid you not, Satan was barking loud. And he was getting to me in every single way possible. And mentally, I did not show up. Like, the event, the atmosphere, it was all great. But like, man, I was lost in the sauce in my own thoughts, I like to say. And I did not perform my best at all. Didn't run my best for the laps. Didn't push myself hard enough for some of the, exercises that we had to do. And I remember leaving there, driving back 6 hours, just thinking in my head, like, Joe, that was horrible. That was like the worst performance ever. Like, dude, what gives? And I remember I had to have this heart to heart conversation with myself on that commute home, saying, like, dude, seriously, like, pull up your big boy pants here. Stop having a little pity party and, like, suck it up, Buttercup. Like, let's move on. Like, let's not let our emotions affect us and get to us to that extent ever again, where, like, it was just an emotional wreck. And I had to have this conversation with myself. And it honestly was a very similar conversation I had with myself from way back in the day when I was about 22 years old. And I was in a lot of darkness in my life, a lot of drugs, alcohol, depression, negativity, like just a black hole that I was in. And I remember having a conversation with myself back then saying, like, dude, you got to save yourself. Like, you got to put in the reps. You have to work on yourself. You have to fall in love with yourself and challenge yourself and really help yourself, save yourself. Stop waiting for somebody else. Take the right action steps. Have more discipline. Get after it. And it was a very similar conversation that I had, driving home from Hyrox in Chicago to Cleveland. And, since this past year, I have been working on myself mentally so much. And I always say this within our coaching program for our members. And in case you don't know anything about how our coaching program works, I guess let me backtrack. In case this is your first time watching, welcome. My name is Coach Joe. I'm the head coach and CEO of Heartletics, and this is where we help our members lose fat and build muscle for their body types, for their busy schedules, for their lifestyles, so that way they can learn how to get in the best shape of their lives and maintain that success long term. But one of the cool things that we really focus on a lot with our members is not just helping them out physically, but helping them out in all four aspects of essentially your personal development, we like to say, which is your physical, your emotional, your mental, and your spiritual health, right? If you can focus on filling up these categories each and every day, that 1% better mentality and just pouring that in, invest into yourself, like, you'll be amazed what new habits, what new character traits, what new looks and feels you'll have within 12 weeks. Honestly, it's amazing. Some of our members, like, for example, Chris lost 25 pounds in 90 days. Santo lost 50 pounds in 90 days. Greg lost, 30 pounds in 90 days and got off his medications, And a lot of our members, they just learn these tools. That way it can help them long term. So they go through our coaching program, they learn what works best for them, and they have that success because they had that knowledge, It's how, Mark was able to lose over 90 pounds and keep it off. How Brian was able to lose over 85 pounds and keep it off. How Jason was able to lose over 100 pounds and keep it off. How John was able to lose over 150 pounds and keep it off. Once again, they're learning the skills and the knowledge, what works best for them. Pretty standard quote. I'm sure you heard this before, but you can either give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or teach a man how to fish and feed him for the rest of his life. That's what we focus on. And if you want any information, maybe to help you out, right, with your own health and fitness journey, you can just click on the link down below if you're watching this on YouTube, and there's some resource links in there just for you. Now, going back, right, talking about Hyrox and the whole entire experience, this past year, I've been working on myself mentally. Pushing myself physically helps, right? But also, one of the biggest things that has helped me is what's called integrity, right? And integrity mean is that, you're doing the right things even when no one else is watching. And I kid you not, like, when you have discipline, that bleeds off to where you have integrity. When you have integrity, that bleeds off into where you're putting in the reps, you're showing up for yourself, right? Competence. Competence equals confidence, right? So you can see in here, like, this is a whole well-rounded aspect of, becoming mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically better, stronger, everything, right? And it's simply because you're just being consistent. You're showing up for yourself. You're putting in the reps. You're checking in the boxes, So now the game plan is we got 10 weeks, right? And I'm coming back for revenge. I'm coming back stronger than ever, physically and mentally, and ready to take on Hyrox. And now I'm going to share with you guys behind the scenes my workouts, my nutrition, my goals, my habits, everything like that, to where if you're somebody that's trying to lose weight, you're somebody that needs guidance, you're somebody that wants to become stronger, you're somebody that wants to lose body fat, you're somebody that wants to become a beast again, yeah, pay close attention to what we're going to say in these next little, clips as we dive into my account, because this is going to help you out so much, especially once again, if you're looking for assistance and help when it comes to you becoming the best version of yourself. Pay close attention. Let's dive in. Okay, so this is what it looks like from the desktop version of our app. What's really cool about this is that, for all of our members, and I'm a client as well as a coach, but for all of our members, they get access to the app right there on their phone. So I'm actually going to open it up, and as you guys can see, it says things to do tomorrow, okay? And it's going to have in there my workouts, and it's going to have in there my habits, daily visualization, drink 3 to 4 liters, goals and gratitude, and then run 3 to 5 miles. And I'll talk about this here in a little bit, but just so that way you guys can see right here on the app, it looks exactly the same, And what's convenient about this and just makes it so user-friendly is the fact that if, let's just say I was going to the gym and I had my workout, I can literally just click on the workout, hit start workout, and just go through it, right? All the sets, all the reps, instructional videos, everything like that. And I'll show you more as we progress into this video right now. But here's kind of an overview in terms of like tomorrow's game plan, okay? And let me backtrack. Okay, just so everybody knows my schedule now going forward. And I will go over here and just kind of share with you. We have November 16th. This is going to be Hyrox Day right here, okay? My training, how it's going to look like for the next 10 weeks is pretty much strength training workouts on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, okay? And the workouts that I'm going to be doing on Mondays, it's going to be a push workout. So as you can see, I'm going to start off, and this is all just based around what I have access to when I go to the gym first thing in the morning. And I like doing a lot of just drop sets, supersets, really fast pace. It says here an estimated workout time is about 48 minutes, and it's never like that at all. It's typically around 30 minutes because I like to be within that 30 to 45 minute sweet spot, but I never really rest a full 90 seconds. I rest anywhere from 30 to about 60 seconds in between each set, so it, cuts down this workout. But you can see in here just warming up a little bit with the legs and then going into a little bit of chest. I had to be very careful because I'm babying a shoulder injury right now, so I had to be very mindful of that. A little bit more with chest, following up into triceps right afterwards. And then, Tuesdays and Thursdays, these are going to be my Hyrox days. So I'll come to that here in a little bit. But let's go to Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a pull workout. So starting off with, once again, a little bit of legs for our hamstrings, and then a little bit of our backs, a little bit of our back and biceps, and then finishing up with trap bar deadlifts. And then Friday's always a juicy one. This is going to be our leg day. Normally, I'm working out between like strength training 4 to 5 times a week. So with Hyrox preparation, switching it up, dialing back on the strength training with the weights, where it's only 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And when I show you guys the Hyrox workouts, it's going to make a lot more sense because you're going to see all the craziness that I'll definitely be doing. But you can see in here for this leg day, warming up, just leg extensions, leg curls, seated leg press machine, and then getting to the main batter of the workout, I like to say, leg press, calf raise machine, and then belt squats, deadlifts, single leg curls. Now, Hyrox workouts, okay? This is an interval, so pretty much I get everything in the gym kind of set up where everybody knows my area. That way nobody's on top of me. And I just use my app and I press start workout and it walks me through this. So this is just a duration of literally 31 minutes. 31 minutes, get the craziest workout of your life. Here's how it is, okay? Start off on the rowing machine for 60 seconds, rest for 30 seconds, sled push for 60 seconds, rest, battle ropes, rest, wall ball tosses, rest, hit the assault bike for 60 seconds, rest for 60 seconds. We're going to do that for 4 rounds total, okay? This workout, I kid you not, you're dripping in sweat afterwards. It beats you up. Really does, beats you up. And then on Thursdays, very similar. It's just that instead of the battle ropes, we're adding in the sprints. Instead of the assault bikes, we're adding in the burpees because we want to stay consistent with changing things up. That way your body never really gets that stage of like, okay, I know what's coming next, So it's constantly mixing things up because that's kind of how Hyrox is. You're constantly changing things up. You're constantly mixing things up. And I'll show you guys the workout format for Hyrox here in a little bit. But let me just go to this real quick. One of the cool things about our coaching program is that we love to give guys habits because it's a great tool of just accountability purposes and helping somebody stay more disciplined. So you can see my habits that I'm going to be utilizing for Hyrox here in the next 10 weeks. Gratitude and goals. I've been already doing this for quite some time, but this is a big one. I'm a huge fan of having a morning routine. I typically don't go on my phone. I don't go through social media, emails, anything like that. That first hour of the day, I want to prime my mindset. So I'm typically meditating, reading the Bible, praying, and also writing down, right? Just anywhere from 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for. And then I'm writing down my goals for the day also. So it's just like I'm taking out my gratitude journal. I'm writing down a couple things I'm grateful for, and then writing down a couple of my goals for the day. And it's a great tool, has helped me out so much. So I'm going to continue doing this one. But then we have daily visualization. Now, I understand that at Hyrox, like the very last exercise is the wall ball tosses, right? The ball thrusters. And they're brutal. And after you complete 100 reps of that, you then sprint to the little platform, okay? So I always like to visualize from the end, like the very end scene. And I know what it's like to sprint, to finish, to go up there. So all I'm going to do is focus on hitting that finish line, like being right there, because I want to imagine the end scene. I want to get that into my RAS, my reticular activating system. I want to get all those senses, all those feelings involved. So that way, when it comes time to perform, my mindset already knows, okay, hey, we're going for this right here. We're going for this finished outcome. This is what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to feel like. This is what we're training for. That's going to help me keep me focused and motivated as I progress through these hard training weeks ahead. Okay. Second thing that I'm going to be focusing on daily is drinking anywhere from 3 to 4 liters. Hydration is something that I struggle with. I tell my coaching clients all the time, hey, try your best to drink a gallon of water a day. That's one of my biggest struggles. Okay. It can help you out so much, and I understand how it can help me out because when I hurt my back, I remember the chiropractor even saying like drinking over a gallon of water a day can really just help your back also. So I understand the importance of it, and even though I'm a coach, I'm not somebody that's perfect by any means. I still make mistakes. So I literally need a habit for me, telling me a daily reminder, I need to drink 3 to 4 liters of water a day. And I'll tell you what, having a habit that I can see each and every day, it works. So I can now drink more water, help my body with recovery, even more fat loss, And then Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, I have running also 3 to 5 miles. So just once again, staying fluent, staying everything. As I progress closer to Hyrox, probably about 3 to 4 weeks out, I will tailor back the strength training. I will not be doing 3 strength training workouts. I'll be doing 2 strength training workouts. So have a push workout on Tuesdays and have a pull workout on Thursdays and have just my Hyrox workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday as I get closer to the events. And then as far as nutrition goes, with me being a nutritionist, and I mean, I fall in love with nutrition just because like when you actually learn how it all works and you don't need to ever follow a diet and you can actually have your cake and your beer, your pizza and fit it in, it's amazing. I tell everybody like that's one of the benefits of investing into yourself and getting proper education, proper knowledge of like literally never having to feel guilty after having some cheesecake or some chocolate or a night out, and overindulging. Like that's the worst feeling. I used to feel like that all the time. Now I don't. My clients don't either, right? Because once again, we want to teach somebody proper nutrition, proper education. So for me, right, I'm about 192, 195 pounds. I wiggle between those two. My goal is I want to get down to 185. Okay. For me at 185 pounds, I know how I look. I know how I feel. And it's just always better when I'm looking a certain way. I typically do better. No, not for vanity reasons by any means, but like when you're in the gym and like you lift up your shirt to, swipe off the sweat and you see yourself in the mirror and you got 6-pack abs, or, you're doing bicep curls and you see your flexion and the veins popping off in the mirror. It makes you feel pretty good. At least it does for me, right? Maybe that's pride. I don't know. I like how I look because when I look good, I'm like, all right, cool. Let's keep it up, right? It makes me feel better, right? And then I can do better. It's like I'm always trying to never settle, right? Always constantly progress and set the bar for myself. So anyways, that's the goal. Get down to 185. That's going to happen here in the next few weeks. It's pretty easy to do. And it's simply because putting the workouts aside, 80% of the results are right here in the nutrition, okay? For nutrition, I tell everybody, unless you're somebody like over 400 pounds or something like that. But I mainly tell everybody, take your body weight, multiply it by 10, 11, or 12. Find a good sweet spot that works for you, and focus on eating that many calories to stay within a healthy calorie deficit. Give yourself some wiggle room, okay? Like, no one's ever going to be perfect. And eat plenty of protein. And if you just do that, like, you will crush your fat loss goals and life would be simple for you. And that's exactly the advice that I have been following and going to continue to follow because it works for me. So for me, for example, 2,200 calories is a good sweet spot. I always say plus or minus 200 calories of wiggle room. So I try not to go above 24 or 2,500 calories. And I try not to undereat. I try not to go like below like 1,900, 1,800 calories. Because once again, like, especially with the Hyrox training, I gotta eat. You need to focus on the recovery. Like, that's going to help you out with your performance. That's going to help you out so you don't get injured. Like, food is fuel, honestly. And I understand that. So that's why I make sure I have a good amount of fats, good amount of carbs, great amount of protein. Protein, I tell everybody, have at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Sure, somebody's going to say, hey, the bare minimum is 0.8. You don't need 1 gram. I don't care. Our clients get amazing results in 12 weeks. And maybe it's because they're having 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. They all lose anywhere from 20 to 50 pounds of fat. It works, right? So try it because it definitely works for them. It's probably going to work for you too. If you want to go more than that, obviously you can see that I'm eating way more protein than, 192 pounds, 192 grams. But I understand that, hey, the more protein I eat, the faster, right, fat loss I'm going to get and the better results I'm going to have. Plus, protein's higher up on the thermic effect of food. It makes me feel full, makes you feel satiated. It just works for me. These macros work really, really good for me. And I would say if you want to go over on your protein, by all means do it. You don't need to go excessive, like taking your body weight, multiplying it by 1.5, anything more than that, that's way too much. You don't need that much protein, in my opinion. Now, real quick, if you are following those calories and macros, I highly recommend tracking your food. Find an app that's convenient for you. Myself and our coaching members just use our app because we got the workouts, we got the community, the 24/7 support, the nutrition guidance, the discovery that literally has thousands of different recipes on the go. It's all right here. It's all in-house, But like, track. That's all I'm getting at. Once again, whether it's using our app or using a different app, it really doesn't matter. But you can't expect to follow through with, hey, here's your calories for fat loss. Here's your macronutrients for fat loss. And you can't expect to hit your numbers if you don't know where you're even at. If you're not tracking, if you're not using an app, if you're not using a software on a computer or literally writing down, right, the back of the calories and macros, right, on a food label, whatever it is, right? Like, if you're not tracking the food, you're never going to know. You might think you're eating plenty of protein, but I bet you anything you're not. Like, realistically, if you spend a day tracking, you can probably see that you thought you were eating all this protein, but you're probably all the way down here. And maybe that's the reason why your metabolism is slow and you're struggling to lose weight. So figuring out, like, hey, having 1 or 2 days of just being mindful, right? Taking a few extra minutes, tracking what we eat can literally help you when it comes to losing more body fat, building more muscle, getting off your medications, having more energy, boosting your testosterone levels, the metabolism. There's so many benefits. I don't understand why would somebody not want to take that chance of just spending 5 minutes to track their macros. All right, so now let me explain Hyrox. Hyrox is a mixture of running and doing a form of like strength-based training, okay? So here's exactly how it is. You start off with running a half a mile, and then you get it right to the first exercise, which is these skiers. And then you run another half mile, and then you go into sled push. Run another half mile, and then you go into a sled pull. Run another half mile, and then you go to burpee broad jumps. These are brutal. Like, I kid you not, destroy me. Run another half mile, and then you go into the rower. Run another half mile, then you go into the farmer's carry. Run another half mile, and then you go into the lunges. These are rough. And then run another half mile, and then you go into the wall ball tosses, right? The thrusters off the ball with the tall. Like, it is insane. Like, it's literally like I had an outer body experience, and maybe because, like I said, I was in a mental funk that day, but it was brutal. And so I'm happy to seek revenge this coming up November. And obviously with me having my app and using it for my workouts, using it to track and log my food, to stay accountable. Obviously, me engaging with the other members inside of the coaching program, inside the community groups and our group coaching calls, just makes it fun. They know about my workouts, they know about Hyrox, they know about the training, so they're there to push me, they're there to ask questions and make sure that I'm staying disciplined. And that's what makes it fun also, is like doing a coaching program, or I like to say like achieving your health and fitness goals with a team, with people that's in your corner that's going to be supporting you, helping you, and just making your life a lot easier for you, taking out all the guesswork, and checking any kind of blind spots that you might have. And once again, if you need any help at all on your own health and fitness journey, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the description box down below, there's 2 links. The first one is a free 90-day fat loss training guide. It goes over a step-by-step blueprint, how to lose anywhere from 20 to 50 pounds of fat all within the next 90 days. That's a free guide you can check out. And the second link is to schedule just a free strategy call. Speaking with myself or somebody with my team, just going over your health and fitness goals and just getting professional advice and guidance on like what we would do if we were in your shoes and how we can help you out. So with that being said, hopefully you guys got some value from today's video. Learn a thing or two about, hey, if you have been in some kind of failures or struggles in your own life and your own journey, pick up yourself back up, brush off the dust. It's all right. Failure is a stepping stone to success, and you just got to keep that in mind. And like I said, with that Steve Jobs quote, you can't connect the dots looking forward in life, but you can always connect the dots looking backwards in life. So just keep that in mind. And if you guys did get some value, great. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your biggest takeaway. And with that being said, this has been Joe Callari with Heartletics.com, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.